Year 1981. A young dame, an ad in a magazine, and a name that would make history. That's how the legend of Metallica began. None of them knew they were about to create something that would shake the very foundations of music. But don't be mistaken. Metallica wasn't born amid applause and packed stadiums. It was forged through fights, betrayals, and tragedies. Stick around until the end, and you'll understand why Metallica didn't just change music. They became the most important metal band in history. This video is sponsored by Suburban Attack, a specialized service for creating merch for bands and festivals. If you have a band or a festival, you can produce all your merchandise in one place with free shipping. They have everything: t-shirts and hoodies, caps, pins, vinyl records, all in one spot and just a click away. Visit suburbanattack.com for more information. You'll find the link in the video description. Lars Ulrich, son of professional tennis player Torben Ulrich, had just moved from Denmark to Los Angeles. He was new, friendless, but obsessed with the new wave of British heavy metal. Wasting no time, he placed an ad in Recycler magazine, drummer looking for other heavy metal fans to jam with. Influences: Diamond Head, Iron Maiden, and Tigers of Pantang. Among several responses, only one would change his life: James Hetfield's, the son of a truck company owner and an opera singer. Two different worlds collided: Lars, the ambitious European kid, and James, the introverted, working-class youth raised between opera and Christian beliefs. But they shared one thing: a passion for metal. They started rehearsing together, and although Hetfield wasn't initially impressed by Ulrich's drumming, they eventually sealed the alliance that would bring Metallica to life. The turning point came thanks to Brian Slagel, Lars's friend and founder of Metal Blade Records, who offered them the chance to record a track for the label's first compilation, Metal Massacre. Thus, an alliance was born that would forever change the history of rock. But Metallica wasn't Metallica just yet. They still needed a name, and a third member. Lars tried his luck again with an ad in Recycler, which caught the attention of a guitarist named Dave Mustaine. His virtuosity was impressive, and his gear even more so, earning him an immediate spot in the band. As for the name Metallica, it came from Lars's friend Ron Quintana, who was planning to launch a metal magazine and was torn between Metal Mania and Metallica. The moment Lars heard the name Metallica, he fell in love with it. He liked it so much that he quickly suggested Quintana name the fanzine Metal Mania instead. And just like that, Ulrich and Hetfield's band took on the name Metallica. With James on vocals and rhythm guitar, Lars on drums, and Dave on lead guitar, they only needed a bassist. The first to fill that role was Ron McGovney. But after releasing the demo Hit the Lights on the 1982 Metal Massacre compilation, and with more and more gigs lined up, Metallica decided to look for a new bassist. Following a recommendation from Brian Slagel, they attended a show by the band Trauma, where they saw a young musician who left them speechless. That long-haired, hippie-looking guy was Cliff Burton. His playing style was unique, and his stage presence was undeniably magnetic. But there was one condition. If they wanted him to join, they had to move to San Francisco, where the emerging thrash scene was giving rise to a growing fan base known as the Bay Area Bangers. Without hesitation, Metallica packed their things and headed to San Francisco. But it wasn't all good news. After countless excesses and heated arguments, Dave Mustaine was kicked out. His departure was abrupt, but from it, another legendary metal band was born, Megadeth. With Mustaine out, Kirk Hammett stepped in, having previously been the guitarist for Exodus. Kirk's style fit perfectly, and Metallica finally found their definitive lineup. With Dave Mustaine out and Kirk Hammett newly on board, Metallica was ready to release their first album and take the world by storm. In 1983, they unleashed Kill 'Em All, an explosion of fury and speed that defined thrash metal. Tracks like Seek and Destroy and Whiplash became anthems, marking the beginning of a sonic revolution in metal. In 1984, Ride the Lightning followed. More mature and complex, the album explored new sounds with songs like Fade to Black and For Whom the Bell Tolls. With this second album, Metallica began to show they weren't just about aggression. They were about emotion and depth, too. But glory would soon bring pain. In 1986, they released Master of Puppets, widely regarded as their magnum opus, and the first thrash metal album to go gold without the support of music videos or radio singles. The title track delivered a brutal critique of addiction, with every riff hitting like a punch to the gut. But tragedy struck during their European tour. On September 27, 1986, the band's tour bus crashed in Sweden. Cliff Burton, their magnetic bassist, was thrown from the bus, which then landed on him, crushing him from the waist up. His death left the band devastated and facing an uncertain future. Despite the loss of such a crucial member, Metallica decided to move forward, convinced that Cliff would have wanted it that way. They searched for a new bassist, and after countless auditions, they chose Jason Newsted. The wound was still fresh, but the legend would not be stopped. With Jason on bass, Metallica faced an uncertain future, channeling their grief for Cliff Burton into music. In 1987, to introduce Newsted to their fanbase, they released a powerful album of covers from the bands that had influenced them, titled Garage Days Revisited. By 1988, they unleashed Injustice for All, a dark and complex album brimming with social commentary. Though the album was a resounding success, its production sparked controversy, especially because Jason Newsted's bass was almost entirely absent from the mix, barely audible throughout the record. Nevertheless, The album's success earned them their first Grammy nomination. In 1991, Metallica shattered metal's boundaries with their self-titled album, better known as the Black Album. With a more accessible sound for the mainstream audience, songs like Enter Sandman and Nothing Else Matters catapulted them to the pinnacle of the global music scene. One moment forever etched in history is their iconic 1991 Monsters of Rock concert, performed before more than 1.5 million people in the former Soviet Union. The success of the Black Album was undeniable, but it also sparked division among fans, with many accusing the band of selling out. This unprecedented explosion of popularity in the metal world led Metallica to sold-out stadiums worldwide and marked a turning point in their musical journey, one that would plunge them into their darkest era.
Lay beside me.
By the late 90s, Metallica underwent a radical transformation, not just musically, but aesthetically, leading them into a long journey through the wilderness. The band members shed their iconic long hair, and their next two albums, Load in 1996 and Reload in 1997, were dominated by a commercial sound, leaning more toward the alternative metal style that was thriving at the time. This shift in both image and sound, clearly aligned with the trends of the moment, once again divided their fan base. To make matters worse, their public confrontation with Napster in 2000, fueled by the fight against music piracy, sparked widespread controversy, painting Metallica as more corporate than rebellious. In 2001, Jason Newsted left the band, worn down by the lack of creative space. This marked the beginning of a deep crisis within the band, torn apart by internal struggles that eventually led James Hetfield to enter rehab. Amid this turmoil, they released Saint Anger in 2003, an album heavily criticized for its raw production, notably Lars Ulrich's metallic snare drum sound and the complete absence of guitar solos, an attempt to align with the nu metal trend of the era. Metallica had undeniably hit rock bottom.
Saint Anger on my neck. You flush it out. You flush it out. Saint Anger on my neck. You flush it out. You flush it out. He never gets respect.
After years of turmoil, Metallica sought to reconnect with their essence. With the arrival of Robert Trujillo, former bassist of Suicidal Tendencies, Metallica was reborn, proving that even after conflicts and transformations, their legacy remained unbreakable. In 2008, they released Death Magnetic, a return to the thrash sound of their origins, welcomed with enthusiasm by fans. Revitalized, the band showed they still had the strength to lead the metal scene. In November 2012, Metallica parted ways with Warner Bros. Records to launch their own label, Blackened Recordings. Through this label, they would produce future releases and reissue their entire studio catalog after reclaiming the rights to their music. A year later, on December 8, 2013, they achieved another milestone by performing a historic concert in Antarctica, becoming the first band to play on all 7 continents within a single year. Since then, with the release of Hardwired to Self-Destruct in 2016, a return to the raw sound of their early days, Metallica has continued to prove their relevance and dominance in the music scene, selling out stadiums around the world. Unlike bands like Slayer, known for their relentless aggression, or Megadeth, celebrated for their technical virtuosity, Metallica has continuously explored and expanded their sound throughout their career. They evolved from the pure thrash of Kill 'Em All to more complex compositions like those on Injustice for All, accessible anthems on the Black Album, and alternative rock experiments on Load and Reload. This ability to reinvent themselves without losing their identity is truly unique within the genre. In terms of songwriting and structure, Metallica is known for their complex, extended compositions, often featuring tempo changes and instrumental passages that border on progressive rock, as heard in Master of Puppets 1 and Fade to Black. Unlike Megadeth's more technical, speed-driven approach or Slayer's raw and straightforward style, Metallica strikes a balance between brutality and melody, broadening their appeal beyond traditional metal purists. Their ability to transcend thrash and introduce the genre to audiences who had never listened to it before makes Metallica the most important and influential band in metal history. And before I go, if you're passionate about music, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you never miss an update, because the best is always yet to come.